Once we have our subject within our new background, we need to erase the old background, and so in this video we're going to take a look at using the magic eraser to help us out. I'm going to work with a version of it just a little different than the previous video. Before we were looking at that scale where we have our subject really large within the background. I'm going to go ahead and work with a version that's a little bit smaller, the subject, and then when I'm finished I'll recrop it to better apply the rule of thirds. Right now she's a little bit too much in the center, but we'll cover that when we finish here. Let's talk about the magic eraser. Once we've reached this point, we have the image where we want it. Of course, we'll duplicate it so that we can do some practice, and if we make mistakes we can get back to an original position. I'll start off with the regular eraser tool. Set the opacity at 100 and start with a hard brush, just that brush size, and get rid of the easy parts of the background. It gets more challenging when we get close to the subject, but right now we can easily remove a big portion of the background. Now we could take advantage of the magic eraser tool. And we come over to the eraser tool, right click, and notice that we have the magic eraser tool. And what the magic eraser tool does is that it's able to discriminate colored pixels. And so it'll erase all the pixels that are of a very similar color. And you can adjust how sensitive the eraser is through this adjustment here called tolerance. It sets a default of 32. And the lower you make that, the more selective it is as far as color selection. And so the way it works is this. I can click on similar colors and it will remove just those colors and avoid encroaching upon our subject. Now, to help you out with this, it's a good idea to use the zoom tool. Bring those pixels closer, make it a lot easier to use that eraser tool. Now you don't have to get rid of everything because we can go in and fine-tune it with the standard eraser. We're just going to be very careful that we don't accidentally hit the hair and lose everything. We don't want to do that. But close down to that hairline is where we really need the help. This could be erased with a standard eraser. And so we're going to move about the image, just taking care of as much of that as possible. And then once you've done that, you could come back to your standard eraser and get rid of some of these larger sections here and just kind of scrub that clean. And then I'm going to change the opacity down to about 30% and soften that brush up. Probably medium softness. And then work to blend the hairline back into the new background. Now once I'm zoomed in here, you can see that the arm has this abrupt edge because of the original image. So what I could do is cheat a little bit, use my eraser tool and just kind of smooth it out so it doesn't appear or make it so noticeable that the arm was left off of the original image. So I'm going to try to smooth this out a little bit with the eraser. Lower the opacity back down to about 30. Medium soft brush, and just try to smooth out that rough edge right there. Round it out a little bit. And hopefully once we zoom out it won't be so noticeable. Let's take a look and see. And the last step will be to flatten the image and then crop. And so there's our completed crop image. We've got the subject, which was originally a portrait, and now we've converted that portrait into a landscape image with a new background.